I got it. I just did it. Okay. Thank you, Dina. All right. Hello. Good morning. Good evening.
Hello.
Next year, yesterday, now. Glad you're all here. And it's going to be a fun day because we're going to be doing mind mapping, sort of. Yeah, mind mapping. It's for dimensional, multidimensional language. Because when you understand the symbols and the meanings, you walk around all day as a multidimensional, multilingual soul. And so then everything is you, and you can just shift between the dimensions because everything's just perception. So that's going to be really fun. I want it to be really interactive. And so I'm going to read the little bit at the first and at the beginning. And then there's a little poem that I just wrote or just came through for us to kind of parse, and then a little more after that. So thank you for coming, and take what resonates with you. Never, ever, ever blindly believe anything. If you have not experienced it firsthand, it cannot be your truth. Well, it can, but it might not turn out well. It might end up in an elusive reality. So James is going to connect us all, our hearts, so we can be one and create a powerful multiplicative field of limitless love.
All right. I just want to thank you guys for being here. Could have been anywhere, but you came here and spent some lovely time with us. So I want to do something what we call opening and closing the circle, where we kind of like imagine if we're all kind of standing around a lovely campfire, or we could be just standing all together, but just in some type of imaginative act where we're all together in one space. And as you're doing that, I would offer you to take a couple of deep, lovely breaths. And with each breath, becoming more and more relaxed, feeling more safe and secure in this group together. I want you to imagine if there was this silver cord attached to you, and it's all the way down, 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 attached to the center of the earth. And as you do that, send a wave of energy from yourself down to the earth and wait for the response. As you get that response, allow that response to that energy to begin to start moving and swirling around you. As you're doing that, you may notice is that you're beginning to feel more connected, more grounded, feeling more connected. We're going to do the same thing. Imagine if there was a golden cord. That golden cord is connected from you to the sun. Send a message of love, energy, light to the sun through that cord, and wait for the response. As you get that response, you may feel a warm sense of radiance, allowing that energy to go ahead and spin around you. Now feeling more connected. Allow those two streams of energy to connect now. As those two energies connect, begin to start concentrating that energy in your chest. And now, as you're breathing as one unit together with the earth and the sun, imagine if there was this golden ball of light in your chest, and the energy is coming from both the top and the bottom, and it's joining together in your heart space. With every breath, the light is getting brighter and brighter, feeling more connected and grounded in radiant love light. And this radiant love light, it now is resonating with every cell in your body, penetrating deep every corpuscle, portion and part of who you are. I invite you guys to do a couple deep, lovely breaths, noticing what this feels like, noticing what this connected feeling feels like. I'm gonna count up from 1 to 5, and when I get to 5, opening your eyes, yet still noticing that feeling of connectivity. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beginning to start opening your eyes, looking around the room, still feeling that sense of connectivity. And when you're ready to take it back, Beth, just go right ahead.
Thanks, James. All right. Okay, let's do this one first. All right. This is about mind games, and that's everything is just mind. We're here to experience ourselves as mind and the expressions of mind and the dimensions of mind. And to gain wholeness, you need to integrate all the dimensions, because we are on all the dimensions, experiencing them at the same time. They're just different reflections, so different translations, but the one pattern is the same. They're the same pattern as the template. And so when you learn the language of the divine and how it's expressed on different dimensions, you feel complete and whole and expanded, and then you can travel throughout the dimensions with consciousness. So, okay, this is what came through yesterday or this morning. It's hard to see the forest amongst the trees. It's hard to see the lies when the mind is displeased. It's hard to see the truth when love's incessantly diseased. Mind games. All is mind, imagining itself. Therefore, all is mind. We are here to experience and express what it is to be a mind. A mind ruminates. Therefore, a mind has many rooms. Each room is a mind, and each of those rooms have minds. Therefore, there are many minds. Each mind is mining old, converting lead into gold. All is simply configurative mental creation. An internal mind in chaos expresses an externally projected, disorganized creation. Many minds misaligned creates multiple dissociative, energetic, vibrational states, personified for experiential identity. With whom am I communing? Which person, personified expression of me do I see and somatically experience within me? The abandoned child, the widow, the aggressive bully, the guru, the missionary, the mother, the lover. Experiencing ourselves as unconditioned love can be painful. To experience another is to experience oneself. To unify all minds is to be one self. The stage is set, the mirrors in place, the parchment translucent, the light diffused, creating many shades of gray. The puppets devised, the strings attached, the lines rehearsed, the shadows unmatched. It's time to play yesterday. You be the mom, I'll be the dad. You be the red, I'll be the blue. Now the stage has been set. Start the timer and forget. Sit back and relax as thoughtless presence. You're a guest, not a resident. Enjoy the play. It's now begun. Cue the curtain. It's time for fun. Now, there's lots of dimensions in there. I don't know if that's all multi-dimensional language. Okay, and this is more of the structure. Creative processes of mind, dimensions, levels, measures, polarity, space, time. Many realities in one mind creates multiple individual stories and collective stories. All is mind from different vibrational frequencies, which are weighed and measured in densities. The densities are embedded as they share the same mind, therefore they commingle. They are configurative systems, extensions of each other that produce and maintain structure and flow. All mind is interrelated. All is mental, conceptual, conscious perception. Perception means expression of concept, evaluation, conceptualization. The contextual narrative for imaginative storytelling shares the systematic mental configurations used for conceptualization. The product of this process is the content of the conceptual experience. The content is the outcome, the meaning derived from the mental processes. Communing in the same space with another does not require you to experience from the same mind. Mental dimensions produce a variety of levels for experiencing. Translations are foreign languages. Thus, when the minds are not in resonance, communication is vibrationally disabled. The ability to communicate successfully is diminished. Upon unification of the minds, conscious and unconscious, you will experience the feelings of wholeness, allowing you to experience reality as a multidimensional, multilingual being. You will be experiencing from the mind of oneness. Thus, you will experience life as being everything through the subtle energies that make up the dimensional realm of spirit. Becoming aware of the symbolic language, their subtle frequencies, and their meanings, you can traverse all dimensions of mind, for all is you. You are remembered by awakening to your own remembering, and choose freely to remember your galactic family. Our galactic family is aware and experiencing from a higher order of mind. The mind that is systemically more organized, connected to the entire galaxy. Storytelling. Storytelling for subjectively observing the creative process of the mind, body, and soul, Father, Mother, Son, Teacher, Student, Healer. And that's just a few. You can go on and on and on with the Trinity. External trade system versus internal trade systems. These mental configurative systems are reflected in the inner workings of the physical body. We are the cells belonging to the whole, yet working in different communities that co-create for a shared purpose, yet beneficiary to individual systems. They are sets and subsets, fractals upon fractals. Their shared purpose is determined by the underlying subtle vibrational frequencies. Their individual purpose is determined by the more prominent energetic vibrational frequencies. The delineated vibrational frequencies keep order amongst the mental sets and subsets, preventing chaotic distortions. This results in the finest fruits. Therefore, its laborers are honored, receiving their just reward, thus without need. It's the precision of the process which reaches the desired outcome of pure spirit. There is always gain, as loss is not possible when order is maintained. The resonant frequencies are tracking codes used for proximity to maintain boundaries. The resonant boundaries contain their cellular members that hold their collective and individualized memories and instructional data. The created surface organizations of one nation are their own creator. Their created efforts, in conjunction with the efforts of the other superficial organizations, produce fictional stories for experiencing. The fruits of the stories are gifts that co-creatively produce the original truth of the unified mentality. They are literalized literalized as the nectar of the gods. Each ordered organization is gifted with the influential power to co-create as they have aligned with the whole. They adopt their true identity by claiming ownership of their inner sanctum. Within, they realign and remember their origin. They are invested in spirit, invested in flesh. Revelation of their inner God allows for reclamation of one's true position. All is mind, structures and systemic mental configurations that build upon itself for evolving mind experientially. All right. I know that's a lot of information, and it doesn't really matter if you don't, well, it does matter if you don't understand all of it. But this is an example of how reading, you can read one thing and it means something completely different on another level. And I just recently am figuring out how to share my world that I live in. And because it's so amazing to, everything is alive. I was talking to Linda yesterday, maybe the day before, and I was explaining to her, because when I see something, it's like the letters, the words come off the paper and they dance and they move, and it's a story. And so I just observe it and they tell me a story. And so what someone experience as flat words on a paper, more like instructional or informational, I experience a creation, something, it's alive, it's a live creation, and it's moving and flowing, and I communicate with it, and it is sharing its beauty with me because I feel it inside me. And I just desire to experience that with another, because it's so amazing. And I just could live there for eternity, which we do, but it's so amazing. And maybe you guys do. And so I'd love to experience that with you. And so, okay, I'm going to show you this first, because this is kind of examples. Okay, this is dimensions of the mind. And these dimensions, these are all symbologies that mean the same thing on different dimensions. And so Earth and the top of each line is connected. Okay, so all of those things are a language in different dimensions. And there's the 4 rivers, the 4 bodies, the 4 minds, and there's more than that, but this is what we are. So when you're talking about iron, you're talking about the telluric realm. You know, when you're talking about blood, you're talking about the inner realm. You know, it's a molecular, it's from the microcosm to the macrocosm, but it's the same pattern, just different symbols for translation. And so if I see the word earth and I'm experiencing it from a context as of water, if I'm experiencing from the context of water or time or solidity, it means something completely different, and it depends on the setting that you're in, and of course your mental configuration. So all of these are expressions of the same thing, except on different dimensions. And it goes all the way into, you know, cosmology, molecular, elemental, sensory, space and time, intellect. It's all different projections of mind from different systems, which are in different dimensions, and they build upon themselves. Nothing is separate. Everything is all embedded within itself. And so we're not going anywhere. People think we are leaving here, we're going to the dimension. Well, no, we're not. We're just changing our perception. And then the universe, the hologram that is projected to you changes because your mental configuration changes. And so we are not going anywhere. We aren't even moving. The universe is flowing through us. And the new mind, the unified mind, is the mind, the unification of the conscious and unconscious, which was the first cause, which was the split, which was the fall of Atlantis, when they had the great deluge and it fractured consciousness, and that was the split. And so we are reuniting the split, and we have come from the future back so that we can correct our mistakes and save our creation. And we are uniting 22 different types of DNA, so beings, races of the galaxy in our DNA, which is the only way that we could unite the galaxy and save our creation. And Earth is a foundation of creation. It was an experiment where we are multidimensional here, so we can travel. And there are other beings that did not like that. And so humans are extremely powerful and desirable because our power, our source energy, we can access it to such depths if we so choose to. And we did, like, we derailed the last time. And so to save it, we come back, because everything that happens ripples throughout the entire galaxy, the entire creation, and it's causing tears in time space, fissures. And what happened was falling in a fissure, and we have been stuck in that fissure. And so now we're getting out of it, which takes all of us together to shift the mind. And so many of us has come to raise the collective consciousness, the vibration, so that we can come out of this. And we've already done it. And now we are in repair. As the old is falling down, the new is rising. So everything feels real discordant, but like Raj said, it's amazing. We are being shoved and pushed through the birth canal. So pain births beauty. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so this is, I was just asking, I need something so we can kind of try to parse this. And so this came out, and I went to read it, and I want you to tell me what you're experiencing, or what you hear, what you see, what you feel. So all is mine. Hello, my superstars. You are my mirror reflections. Your beauty lights my skies. Your fruit is most sought. Your fruit is most sought over, as your essence is divine. You are that which is most favored. You're one of a kind. My imaginings refined. I display you proudly. You're always on my mind. I hold you in high places, the crowning jewels of my design. Your lightning is striking. Your power stands alone. Its healing is miraculous as it mends the great divide. Your rays are expansive, symmetrically aligned. Your visions are monocular. Your symbol is prime. Your radius radiates beyond all measure, Beyond all measure, it surpasses space and time. Your primary colors are mixtures of my love. They lay upon your heart, for they're sent from up above. You are the measures of the ages, which you perpetually refine. Your labels are symbols that weave my grand design. You are the basing of my shadows, the unraveling of my mind. You serve in my creation, your reflections are divine. You are the seeds of my thoughts, planted firmly in my field. Your fruits are sublime. Love is your gesture, stillness is the key, patience is a virtue, softly bend your knee. You are the messengers for others, please read between the lines. Feel beyond all measure, for there lies the gift of pleasure. There you will awaken to the knowing you are your very own treasure. Be the light. Carry on my youngest lights. Be still and know that I am. Okay. So I just want to kind of like maybe go like the first couple sentences and tell me what you read in that. Anyway. I can't see hands, so just talk. There's only two of us here.
You knew I would start talking.
Thank you.
Well, it starts with superstars. So superstars are supernovas. Nova is new. The reason they would say new is back in the day, the night sky was really the only entertainment most people had. And so the night sky was pretty static. It didn't change from night to night. So when a star exploded, there would be a new stellar object in the night sky, therefore it was called a nova, something new. So a superstar is a supernova. It's really bright. It's almost as bright as an entire galaxy at its brightest. So it starts with light, the brightest light. You're the mirrors of my reflection. Therefore, you are a reflection of how bright I am within myself. Of course, your beauty does light my skies because that's exactly what supernovas do. Your fruit is the result, is most sought over as your essence, which is the cause, which is divine. So that's exactly how I read the first two sentences.
Anyone else would like to? Do you read, see the dimensions in that? So like we're talking like from the microcosms to the macrocosm, it's just fractals of the same one pattern. And I can't see hands. So if you want to talk, just talk.
So
Or just open your mouth.
I guess we could say like, you know, kind of like so above, so below. This idea of superstar is like it's like an actor, but not any kind of actor, but a well sought after actor, somebody that's really good at what they do. In comparison to exactly kind of like what Raj was talking about. You are my mirror reflection again, so above, so below. Your beauty, beauty lights, your beauty lights my sky. Your beauty, right? Like be you, energy with the E. All right, being you energy, just being yourself, what you are, lights the sky, right? So just being yourself in that way. Your fruit is most sought after as your essence is divine. It's like I think to myself, it's like in the same way, like negative people will attach themselves to people that are extremely positive or really give out a lot of energy. So that type of loving, caring energy, people, it's really sought after. And it's a rare commodity in today's time. So that's what I see.
Beautiful. Thank you, James.
Yeah, the part that really struck me was your lightning is striking, your power stands alone. Its healing is miraculous as it mends the great divide. Goes to show that not only do we all have that power, but it's a unique power that adds a different layer or different dimension than any of us could. So you actually make the universe unique by your contribution. So everyone is valued because everyone is different. Everyone is constantly mutating and expanding.
Yes. Yes. Anyone else? And from the projection, the reflection, right? We call it superstars, like, you know, the movie stars, right? And it's acting, right? Because we all are imagining, right? And, you know, my mirror reflections, well, we do have mirrors here that we look at and have reflection, okay? It's in the land of physical. And your beauty, like my skies, that is the feeling. It could be physical beauty, you know, which in this realm right now is mostly about physical beauty, but also emotional, spiritual beauty. Like James said, and I know a lot of us, well, we're all so empathic that people are drawn to you. They end up hating you because they want you and they can't have you. And so, yes, they are drawn, and it is so rare, like James said. And then people also, we are giving our power away to like be superstars outside of ourselves because we are so lacking in self. And we believe that love is out there. And so we model ourselves after something out there instead of something in here. And the fruit is most sought over as your essence is divine. And it's in the external dream, it's like people paying $500 for a purse that has C's on it. I still have yet to figure that one out. But like, this is what makes you special. This is what sets you apart. And it's things, right? And physical beauty, money, and being idolized. And the fruit that grows on the trees, when it ripens naturally on the tree, it's super sweet. With the fruit now, right? They just pick it before it ripens, and it has hardly any flavor because it has the essence of the light in it. It's mature. It's ripe in maturity, which we're all looking for. So yeah. Anyone else? And the spices too, right? Lots of spices and herbs. All right, let's do some more. You are that. Just move. Oh wait, we already did that one. You are that which is most favored. You're one of a kind. My imaginings refined. I display you proudly. You're always on my mind. I hold you on high places, the crowning jewels of my design. All right, let's do that. Come on, Raj. I want to hear it.
You want me to go again? Okay.
Yeah, oh, please.
Okay. You are that which is most favored. You're one of a kind. So you're unique. My imaginings, there we go. Imaginings, my consciousness refined, right? Consciousness focus creates the uniqueness that is you. And because you're a mirror reflection of me, I hold myself to be unique as well. So it's actually this comes from the first sentence up there. Mm-hmm. I hold you in high places. Sorry, I display you proudly. You're always on my mind, right? So my imaginings refined as your consciousness focused. I display you proudly. You're always on my mind. So you're always in my consciousness. How can you not be? If you're a reflection of me, then I'm going to always have you in my consciousness because you are me, right? I am you. You're just another facet of this wonderful imagination, this wonderful consciousness. Your lightning is strike. Are we doing that one or?
No, do the jewels on the crown.
Okay, I hold you in high places, the crowning jewels of my design. So if you take a look at the night sky, they look like jewels. They look like diamonds that are just sparkling in the night sky. So again, we are talking about, just as James say, we're talking about the law of correspondence, as within, as above, so below. So I hold you in high places. Well, the highest places is in my consciousness. The crowning jewel, the crown. So this is really interesting. I don't know how many people know this, but the word the crown, does anybody know where the word crown comes from?
No.
Okay, so when there is a total solar eclipse, that means when the moon, which by the way, the sun is exactly 400 times further away from the earth than the moon is, and the sun is exactly 400 times bigger than the moon is. So when the moon comes between the earth and the sun, it completely, just coincidence, right? There's that word. It happens to block out the entirety of the sun. But when that actual eclipse happens, you see a ring of light known as the corona, the outer sort of the thinnest layer of the sun, the corona. The corona is the crown. The corona is the crown. So when you look at the crown, you are looking at the sun, which is the light, the love, the life. The most powerful thing in our experience, in our 3D experience. Without the sun, we're dead completely. There's no earth, there's no life. So the crowning jewel, the life-giving jewels are valuable. What is more valuable than life? Of my design. Well, what's your design? It's your creation. I created you, and I hold you in the highest place in my creation. That's how I read that.
Fantastic. Thank you. Right. Next.
Well, I guess I could do next. You are that which is most favored. It's most sought after. So what is more higher than that which is high? You're one of a kind. We're all different expressions of the one, finding themselves back to the one. My imaginings refined. Just like it's like imaginings. It's like when we imagine things in our mind, but we can refine that. And so in order to not because it's like this idea that if we are all infinite power, omnipresent, knowledge, all of those things do exist within us. But in order for us to do that, we had to define it so we can then refine it. So we can, in a sense, discover it in this game of life, of experiencing self. I display you proudly. You're always on my mind. It's like never letting your both your inner and your outer matches, and at the same time, it's like, where did I see? I display you proudly. So if something is proud, when you say loud and proud, something that is in the forefront, it is always there, present, to be seen in the open. That's why we say I hold you in high places, because Jesus says you don't take a lamp and put it under a cover. You take it and you put it on the highest mountain that you can, so everybody can see it, so everybody can witness it. The crown jewel of my design. It's like, okay, so but just think about the idea of like the crown jewel of my design. It's like that one expression has every single thing within it. It is like everything. And just like everything is an expression of everything. It's just held at a certain vibration, not yet in a sense expressing or fully expressing its whole truth. What is, let me see. Oh yes, and about this, like kind of like what Raj talked about a few seconds ago. It's like the zodiac. The zodiac in the Bible is called the Mazzaroth. A Mazzaroth means a garland of crown, a garland of jewels. And so again, Mazzaroth, garland of jewel, a crown of jewels, stars. So I think that's it, right? As far
Yeah.
as we're going. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And if I can add, it's just really hit me. I hold you in high places, the crown jewels of my design. As I sit here, I see 5 crown jewels of my design. I'm different.
Mirror.
I'm here with you. And I'm seeing your perspective, your uniqueness, your brilliance that is different than mine, which causes my brilliance to reflect off and become unique in another way, times 5.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Right. Okay. You are that which is most favored. You are my imaginings refined. And when I saw, immediately thought of you, Raj, when I was talking to you, you're like, you got to tweak it, but keep tweaking it, like refining it, like when I'm creating, right? I have to check, is that what I want? Oh, I'm off a little bit. I need to go back and, refine my vision, my imagination, so that I can see my true reflection without distortions, because this is not what I want. I want something that reflects new and what I desire. So most favored. So I display you proudly. You're always on my mind. It's like I'm constantly, to be a disciple is to be a disciple of your mind, is to watching it, make sure I know what I'm displaying in there. Like I need to monitor my thoughts so that I do create what it is that I desire and not something that I don't want. And so I'm always on my mind. I am always on my mind because I'm creating. So I need to be awake and aware of what's in my mind. So on my mind, not your mind, which is, but, and then I hold you in high places, the crowning jewels of my design. Is when I can, it's so amazing to see my mind literally reflected in front of me. It is astounding to see the very thing that I'm thinking right in front of me. It's so amazing. And it is like, wow, oh my gosh, I did that. And I've had experiences where I have practiced creative imagination and then saw myself after a length of time standing in my mind, literally. And I imagined where the water was going to be and all of the things on the land. And it was there exactly as I had. And this person's like, look, there's water over there. I'm like, I know there's water over there. I created it. And that's over there and that's over there. And they're like, what? How do you know that? Because I created it. And so it is. And I just started sobbing because it was so amazing to stand in my mind. So beautiful. And I was proud of what I displayed. Very proud because it was productive and it felt amazing. And then in the material realm, the story realm, whatever, the king wears the crown. The king is that sits on the chair in high places. He is favored. So he's on everyone else's mind because he is favored. He even teaches them, tells them what to think and say and do and be. Not always to the best of everyone's interest, but yeah, that's what, yeah. So that's what I got for that. Anybody else want to share? So these are all different dimensions.
I'll just mention that You know, you mentioned that the king or the queen or these people that are viewed as special, they wear a crown, and that's simply a material representation. When you think of the corona,
Mhm.
the corona is not material. It's a spiritual crown. But because most people on earth, and even the religious people,
Mhm.
they are not spiritual.
Mhm.
See, there's a difference between religion and spirituality, right?
Yeah, yes.
So in order for them to put themselves, to make themselves look, you know, as if they are spiritual, they wear something material that represents the crown, the corona, which is spiritual. So we have to be careful. So you were talking about, you know, the reality versus the illusion. You have to be able to tell the reality from the illusion. When somebody wears something material to tell you how important they are, you know that that's a story.
Yeah. Yes.
Whereas if you see the depiction, if you see, look at the depiction of Jesus, he's not wearing a material crown, but he
Yeah.
has the corona, the spiritual crown is
Yeah.
always around him, right? The halo, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you got to be able to tell the story from the truth, right? The truth is
Yep.
the crown, the corona is not material. If you're wearing a material crown, you are not the favored. You're making yourself the favored. Maybe you're making yourself the favored so you can lord it over the others, but that is not reality. That's the illusion.
Yeah,
And most people buy into the illusions. You have to be able to tell the illusion from reality.
exactly. And that's how I'm always in correspondence to my intellectual world. And because I know the language of the dimensions and the mind that people are creating from now, right? It's a dual mind. So the opposites. So then I can navigate it by feeling what's inside and what's being reflected outside, and then translating it through the multidimensional language. And I'm going to say so out here, like it's the coronavirus, right? Now the corona strong, and which it is dual because it has a dual purpose, right? And so it is. I perceive it and experience it as beauty because it's pushing us forward. It's what you talked about, giving us a shove that we need to unite an entire creation. You have to have something that unites an entire creation, and then also the rays are the rays of the head, the rods of God, and we have a helmet, right? And so I don't know if you activated your rays in your head, your mind from the pineal. And so it does, we do project or radiate light, like Raj said, and then the radiation from the sun, all of that light. So there's so many dimensions in this, all the way down to your lightning is striking. That is where the DNA, and it projects the codes, which it makes an arch, and it creates the piezoelectric light, which is what vibrates the hologram that we experience seemingly externally. So, okay. Your lightning is striking. Okay, go ahead, Raj. Your lightning is striking.
Yeah, your lightning is striking, right? So we talk about how lightning strikes. Well, it has to, because it is light. Light can only strike. Light can only radiate, and when it radiates, it radiates out, and it strikes the ether, and your power stands alone. Light is power. We just talked about the sun being the light, love and life. So there's the power, right? So if you're light, you have power. This is the one thing that if everybody in the world could resonate with that knowledge that they are the light, and light is power. And so therefore, when you connect to the light being within you, you are all powerful. There's no more need for government or anything else, because you are completely whole and complete as a universe within yourself. You don't need an outside body telling you what to do, what to think, what to wear, what to say, how to behave. You don't need that. but it becomes a responsibility because lightning does have a great deal of power, and if it strikes, it can be damaging, right? Because it's so powerful. So you have to be responsible with the power that you have.
Yes.
Its healing is miraculous. Have you ever been healed through by yourself, right? Just, again, the secret to a healthy self is to heal thyself. Have you ever healed yourself? It is miraculous. It seems miraculous. It isn't. We have the power to heal ourselves. And because we're the light, it is the healing power of that lightning or the light. It mends the great divide. So to me, watch this. When lightning strikes, you hear this thunderous roar, right? Because the lightning is, it's faster than the speed of light, and it quite literally creates this kind of divide in the very air itself, the boom, right? The sonic boom as we hear it. It creates that divide, but then immediately after the lightning strikes, right, because it's air, it's very malleable, it comes back, it just comes back together again. It's no longer divided. And so this particular lightning, which is you, has the power. It's so powerful. If it's not used with responsibility, it can be chaotic and it can cause a lot of damage. But it is so powerful. It has the power to heal you from within of any illness back to well-being, should you choose to focus it in that direction. Think about it. Light focused is laser. Laser can cut through steel.
Yeah.
Well, you have that ability because you are the light. So that's how it mends the great divine. Your razor expansive, absolutely, goes everywhere, right? There's nothing that we experience in our 3D reality that is as travels as fast as the speed of light. There are things that travel faster, but it's not in our reality, not in the 3D reality. Symmetrically aligned, right? There is nothing more symmetrical than white light. It's perfect in its symmetry. Your radius radiates beyond all measure. Well, the radius, so this is the limitlessness within you, right? So we only know of the radius when we know of the limit. And when your radius radiates beyond all measure, then it means you're limitless. It surpasses space and time. So there you go. You're the infinity because you're the light. Light is infinite. I'll end there and I'll have somebody else speak to those two sentences, but that's my interpretation.
Thanks, Josh. Okay.
I guess I'll go. This is gonna seem like in order. I like this idea about like the your healing is miraculous. As it mends the great divine. Now, how I think about the great divine, think about these like literally two vines, grapevines, but think about this idea as like when we look at things like when things we say when the DNA tightens, or we could say fractalizes, becomes more perfect, it tightens together and it expresses more of, we could say, the blueprint, or we could say the design of the blueprint of God. And so when there's more fractalization, or we could say compression, then there's more, we could say, mending. We could say that these two things are twisting or mending or interweaving together in a more perfect way. Your symbol is prime. Yeah, one is prime, right? One is a prime number, right? So what else?
Symmetry, expansive. You raise our expansive symmetrically line.
I was just kind of jumping around.
It was fine. It's fine, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your ways expand. Your symmetrical alignment. Again, geometry, like I was saying earlier about how when the DNA tightens, is what we call fractality, and then you see it able to literally implode or fuse together. And so when it can do that in that perfect symmetrical way, then it becomes it literally, you have the ability to open up a stable black hole in
Mhm.
every cell in your body, causing negative entropy, which is self-organization. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, James. Monsignor, bring it.
Well, the only thing I was just thinking on the number, because the thing that hit me was that your symbol is prime. Well, prime is the origin, the most excellent contribution to what is needed at that time, which just goes to show there's no mistakes. Everything works together for good. And that, I don't know, it just hit me that your symbol is prime, that we're all perfectly aligned and ready to intermix together to expand to the next level. So, like, I know people, the thing that always is affecting me is to not celebrate the things that we don't understand because they don't always feel right, but they're all working to manifest and expand into the next level, the greater whole. And I think people become afraid and they contract and they pull away and become individualized. And that fractal, that gem, is not in part of the crown anymore. That makes me sad, because I want them to contribute and know that we don't understand all that we contribute, but it's really important. It's really unique. Every single one of you have given me a unique experience in my life and expanded me so much. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Thank you. I agree completely. You're all me, and so thank you for teaching me about me. So, and I'm beautiful. I am limitless. I'm powerful. It's not even possible for me to experience anything other than divinity. And the healing is miraculous. In this realm, in the dream, like we call things miracles that we just don't understand. And so healing is miraculous because we are all miraculous. Yet in that realm, they don't understand that. So in that reflection, they say, oh, it's a miracle. But that is, the miracle are just things you don't understand. There's no conceptualization for it. And it mends the great divide. We are right now uniting mind. We're becoming one again. So we are mending. There's no more division. Well, we're working out of that. And so the conscious and the unconscious are being integrated, all parts of us, and mending the divide, and we're shifting out of here into the next. So we made the shift, yes. And the rays are expansive, symmetrically aligned. That is the sun too, how it keeps the earth symmetrically. And even like the equipment, healing equipment now, right? That's all just rays, music, light rays, and healing, reconfiguring the geometry of the body. So it shows up externally. The med beds that are already here. We have so many tools now, and we've been given back our knowledge so that we can use them to heal. And so there isn't going to be the division among the people, among the colors, among the cultures. We're going to be united, remembering that we are one human family and we belong to each other, and that we will take care of each other, you know. And yes, and surpasses space and time, right? The light, it comes before space and time. It is the light, the still light that conceptualizes and expresses space and time, comes up with the mental measurements, configurations for experiencing, for creating dimensions of the mind, and then experiencing for growth, the evolution. And then your primary colors are mixtures of my love. They lay upon your heart, whether sent from above. That's the reflection of as above, so below. And then the colors and the prisms of the light, and how it's all refractory. So it's all one thing, mixed, and yet we're all the same. And love is Love is the force of movement that manifests light into being and expresses and lay upon your heart. Well, that is the connection to our soul and then to the divine that mixes our colors and uses our beauty with which to paint on the canvas of life. All right. Let's see, you are the measures of the ages, which you perpetually refine. Your labels are symbols that weave my grand designs. You are the basins of my shadow, the unravelings of my mind. All right. Raj.
Where do you want me to start?
Okay. Your primary colors. I did that one. You can continue that. Do that one again if you want, or just go to you are the measures of the ages. So
Okay,
just do it.
All right. So the other thing I want, when you talk about primary, right? So let's talk about primary, prime, premium, preliminary. Prime, right? As James said earlier, right? Prime one's a prime number, right? So let's take a look at the prime. Prime numbers are nonlinear, folks. Okay, so this is a pattern that's different than what you might be used to, right? So what are the primes? 1, 3, 5, 7. Most people would think 9, but 9 is not a prime number. The next prime number is 11. Then you have 13, right? Then you have 17. Then you have 23. Then you have 27. It's non-linear. So when you think about prime, right? Premier, prime, preliminary, primary. When you're thinking about that, it's all goes back to prime. Prime is not linear. It is a pattern unto itself. It is unique unto itself. It's not the same as anything else. To be prime is to be special.
Is that reflective of longitudinal waves, Raj?
Is it reflective of longitudinal waves? Yes and no. So the longitudinal waves are linear.
Okay.
Okay. Longitudinal waves are linear. However, this is where longitudinal waves become nonlinear when they strike an obstacle. Have you ever seen a wave in a pond? If there's an obstacle, that wave breaks into 2, 4, 8, 16. It breaks into a different pattern, which then becomes nonlinear. But longitudinal waves start out as linear unless they hit an obstacle.
Okay.
So it's a transition from, so that's why you have to be focused when you're sending an energy out into the universe. You have to focus on what you want. If you get distracted, that's an obstruction, and then that interferes with the wave that you're sending out into the universe. And then once the universe receives that interfered with wave, the universe is a reflection. It'll bring you back what you didn't intend to send out or originally want to send out. That's why you always have to tweak your reality, because we always, especially if we're not focused, if we're distracted, then the energy wave that we send out is not going to be exactly what we intended. And so when we get it reflected back to us, we're like, oh, okay, I got to tweak this because I didn't quite want that. I wanted a car, but I kind of don't want a car with wheels. I better adjust my design.
Right.
So it's important to understand waves and how waves can get interfered with. Okay. So you're a measure of the ages. Is that the one where I'm starting with?
Yeah.
Okay. A measure. What's a measure? A measure is to, this is interesting. A measure is to graduate. Yeah. So you have, it's a graduation.
Yeah.
It's marking the path is a measure. You measure your speed by going from point A to point B. You measure your age from one birthday to another, right? So it's a gradual traverse of a path. So that's what a measure is, a gradual traverse of a path. It's an interesting word because that word graduation, um, graduation as it is engineered in terms of our education is a combination of two words. It's actually gradual indoctrination, graduation. So
Oh
if they can indoctrinate you in measure so that
my.
you conform to the
Measurement.
well, yeah, I was trying not to use the same word in the definition, but yeah, to the way they wish for you to think. Have you ever noticed that the more degrees that a person has, right, a bachelor's, a master's, a doctorate, a postdoctorate, the more inflexible they are to a new idea?
Yes.
Well, how could that be? How can you be so educated as to be completely closed off to a brand new idea? Take a look at the religion, right? Take a look at religion. The higher up a particular religious individual is, the less flexible they are to other religious beliefs. Why? Because of this this gradual indoctrination, which we call graduation, right? We celebrate when somebody graduates from high school or college, but it's actually all you're doing is just measuring the path of this programming that is engineered to keep you imprisoned within a way of thinking. So that's really what a measure can be used for. If it's so powerful, but it can be used in that way.
There's a value too, right?
Right, absolutely, exactly.
Right.
Yep. Let's see. You are a measure of the ages. We were just talking about that. That could be a measure of your age, or you're a measure of the ages, right? The universe it's not linear time. It's actually circular, right? It's a cyclical.
Right.
So the measure of the universe comes in cycles. We are now back into the age of Aquarius is the golden age. We're back into the golden age, which you perpetually refine. So here's that concept of you send out a wave into the universe, it comes back to you, you refine it. If you're not getting back exactly what you wanted, you're always refining it. Says it right there. It's never static, unless you're always completely 100% focused on one thing. Your labels are symbols. Symbols are the original language, folks. Right? What we're speaking today, this language called English, has evolved over time. And if you take if human existence on Earth is measured by let's say a grandfather clock, right? The regular clock with 12 equal measures. Language is between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. The rest of the human existence has been actually with symbols, right?
Yeah.
Symbology is our original language, that weave my grand design. There you go. It's this concept of design. It's our mind. It's with which we create things, right? I keep saying that our imagination is the 3D printer of our reality. Well, you have to design that reality. You have to give it the vivid details in order for you to see it materialize as an experience. So you do that through symbology or pictures in your mind.
And Raj, in the refining, which you perpetually refine, because I don't want to keep creating the past, right? So I need more vision to tweak it, right? Otherwise I'm stuck creating the same thing. That's
Yes, exactly.
When you said that. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's exactly how people get stuck, right? Is because they don't have new things come in.
Right.
They're perpetually all they're doing is they're going back to the past, and they get on what I call the hamster wheel. They stay on that hamster wheel because they have no way of getting off the hamster wheel. It works with triads too. You could be on a triad with no escape path.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have new experiences for growth. Before minds are closed, there's nothing, right? I can't know new, experience new. So, okay, thank you. Tina, James? You have anything to share?
I wanted to point out that in order to refine, you have to purify what you're doing and evolve it into something more pure than you originally thought. And here's the thing about the conscious mind. The unconscious mind is the repetitive pattern, the program that plays over and over again. In order for you to create new things and new habits and new experiences, you have to create new brain waves, actually. So in order for you to grow and expand, you have to continue to add new experiences and not stay stagnant and play the same broken record, which we've done. That's what we've been trapped in, the matrix of the records on, 33.3 for how many years?
Long time.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why, and it feels painful because the unconscious plays this automatic pilot. You don't have to do nothing. It just does it. So you just sit there and watch it. Versus if you need to forge through and look for new experiences, take it all in, allow it to change you, allow it to not feel comfortable sometimes so that you can evolve and be purified.
Absolutely. And I was working with someone yesterday and she was saying it just feels horrible. And I'm like, because you've done the wrong thing or like this so long that doing something different doesn't feel good. And so
Or worse
yeah,
yet,
I
they're
was
addicted
stuck
to
in
the
that.
they're addicted to the broken
Yeah.
record, so it feels foreign to them.
Yeah, it did. She's like, I don't even know what this is. And I'm like, I know, because you haven't experienced it, right? And so it's the fear of I can't predict it,
And control it.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So perpetually refining. We always are. Yes. And so out here, like in this reflective, we are refining in the mills, like, right? Like in the minerals, because those are reflective of the creative forces. And let's see. Yep, and the labels and the symbols, everything is a label and a symbol. And together, we create one tapestry with those labels and symbols. So each is essential and perfect and necessary. And if you know what the symbols mean on different dimensions, you can walk through a field and experience yourself on multiple dimensions at one time, which is really cool. And sometimes confusing, but it's getting better and better. Okay.
Well, I'll add something.
Okay.
Going to you mute because it's kind of echo.
Why it's not? Oh, right here can mute because
It's all good. I just thought if you mute, it starts echoing and I stop. What I was gonna say was is like from the prime essence there comes light. From light, we think about this idea as information, but from this prime essence, which is self-organizing, comes information called light. This light is light. Information means continuously formed, right? From the light comes life, and so that's all the things that we're talking about. And so when I say those things, like our entire mind or consciousness is composed of words. And so how we build our world around us is called building blocks called words. We assemble our world through symbols. So that's how you assemble, using symbols. And so that is how we build the world around us. And so if our symbols of the world do not reflect the natural universe, then we will build a world, we will assemble a world with symbols that are not natural. And therefore the subconscious mind, which knows how to create with nature, because that's what it is, it's tapped into that, doesn't know how to outpicture the world at large, or at least build a world that is reflective of nature. Because we don't know how to speak the language of the unconscious, because the language of the unconscious is energy. It is also in pictures, and that is the same as that is the same thing as what we call symbols. But the symbols that we have in our mind that we've created our world with are misaligned with nature. Therefore, we don't have access to the subconscious mind.
So the out picturing is going to be just a distortion. Yeah.
Correct.
Mhm. Yeah. And if we can't read it, we can't correct it. Course correction. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. And measures, the measures are broken down dimensionally, for seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, centuries. Those are all measurements to get to like the next level, to level up. And those measurements then reflect how they are configured, reflects the change in the expression. Because as we go up, we get access to new information from which to create with. And then the basins of my shadows, that was really cool. The unraveling of my mind. Because I was seeing like the puppet show, I just was like, oh my gosh. And I was seeing like the puppet shows where they have like the paper that turns kind of like a translucent paper, and the light is shine through it. And then they hold like these little puppets, like paper puppets behind there, and they move it. There's people up top, and then people are sitting out front, and they're just watching really the shadows moving, the reflection of the light. And so, and I'm like, that's exactly how reality works. That was just really cool. And then that's really what we are currently. Well, maybe always, but whether we choose, we get to be our own puppeteer or not. Yeah. And Raj, I always think of you when I thought of that today or yesterday. It was like, cutting the cords, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, cut the strings. I'm not a puppet anymore. I get to decide what I want to create and how I want to animate it, and the narration that I put on it. But it was, and then that came into my mind, enter the cave that you, refuse the cave because it's dark, fear, so going inside. And in the some of the history where you see the handprints on the walls, right, left by other cultures, and they're not linear, they are at the same time, but it's just like symbols from the other dimension that, the hand is the measurement of the universe, and the portals, and so it's a measurement of time, and of course the portal to other dimensions. So that was really cool. That came in, that puppet show. That was, yeah, it was so cool. And you see those, right? There's like a fire, because when I do shadow work, it's like I'm sitting at a fire, and then I'm experiencing myself, and I'm just still, and the person is talking, and I'm feeling everything. And it's a reflection from the fire too. And I thought of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. It's the same. So okay.
Are you all aware that a shadow is a projection of dimension -1? Okay, so that sounded pretty mathematical. But if you take a 3D object and you put a light on it and you cast the shadow of that 3D object, the shadow will always be one dimension lower. So you'll always only ever get a 2D shadow from a 3D object.
Yeah.
If you cast the
yeah.
shadow of a 2D object, it becomes a 1D shadow, right? It becomes a point, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so if you take a look at the, if you take a look at the world is a shadow. It's an illusion. Why is that? Because we are not three-dimensional beings that we're led to believe. We only cast a shadow of 3D because we're greater than 3D. I don't know if you guys were aware of that.
Yeah, well, you put it in a very nice context. So I love that.
You know, I was just thinking about something that it's not necessarily as congruent with all the conversation that we're having, but it just kind of rang out to me, so I just talk about it. It was like, because Beth was saying it was also in front of this fire, and in my mind I was just thinking about Moses in the burning bush. And it was very interesting that, because this conversation is, to me, we talk about language, and the Ten Commandments are written in negative statements, meaning that whatever entity really wanted those Ten Commandments to be disseminated actually wanted them to actually do exactly what they said not to do.
It's really hard to hear you, James. You're echoing, and it's
Beth, can you
getting-
turn off your?
I've experienced the same
Can you hear me
thing.
better
Sound
now?
like you're in a tunnel.
Yeah, I can hear you better now. Yep.
All right, I'll get a little closer to the microphone.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that when Beth was saying about the fire, I was in my mind, I was thinking about the Moses and the burning bush, because I was thinking about language and how you can trick the subconscious mind by telling somebody something the truth and then giving them something else. Like he said, Moses said, well, who shall I tell that sent me? Well, I am that I am. Well, I am is the most powerful thing in the English language that we have. Right. We'll give him that. And then trick him and give him 10 commandments and tell them what they shouldn't do and tell them nothing about how to utilize the full power of God. That was a powerful part of deceit. I was like, wow, that's amazing to me. I just wanted to share that because well, go ahead, Zina.
No, go ahead.
Well, let me just say this, because I don't think you guys heard me, was that because they're set in negative, like thou shalt not this, thou shalt not that. And because the subconscious mind doesn't take negative statements, it only, so if thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, well, thou shalt do exactly this. And so, so they basically telling them to do exactly what they shouldn't do. So it's very interesting.
Well, and the point I wanted to make to what Raj said is, we're in the illusion that we're 3D here, but we're really giving up the 2D to become 3D. And the illusion is that we're on Earth and it's not complete, but we think it is. So we're living in this dream and we're scared to give up the dream for what reality is, which is the extra dimension. So the thing is you got to give away everything you know here for that to become clear.
Yeah, I'll learn it.
Scary as
Yes.
hell.
Yeah, and what is it that they sell? They sell the American dream. Well, what do you have to be in order to dream? Asleep.
Sleep.
So what are they really selling you? Be asleep.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm. You know what though, too, I'm just going, okay, since we got onto this thing. All right. So if I were to say that you were awake, right? So when somebody dies, right, and you go to their funeral, right?
You
Guess
go to
what?
awake.
It's awake. It's awake, man. So so your awake being is dead, man. I'm telling you that the language is so set up like that, man. It's like just like the morning. In the morning, right? You wake up. Oh, come on. They're subconsciously putting you back to sleep by your language, subconsciously telling you that you're dead.
You're awake in the morning. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wait, Raj, you had said something too, because you were saying about like the 3D is like reflective of the 2D. So is that
No, the other way around. So a 3D object casts a 2D shadow. It can never cast a 3D shadow, right?
Okay.
So if, go ahead. So go ahead.
So relate this to me, because I'm feeling like, you know how everything is already created before we experience it, like it's already done. So is that, that's relative to that, right?
Yeah, it could be,
Oh,
because
yeah.
creation is more than 3-dimension, right? So it's
Mhm.
you know, spirituality is more than a 3-dimensional thing. But what are we seeing? We're seeing a shadow world, right? So when you talk about we live in this world is a shadow of true creation, right? Now we can
Mhm.
create things in a 3D world, but we have to go into our spirit mind, which is a higher level of consciousness, in order to create in the 3D world. You will never be able to manifest in 3D if you create in the consciousness of 3D. You'll only
Right.
be able to create on 2D, on paper. You can draw a diagram where your conscious level of thinking is in 3D. Now you'll create something on 2D, that is perfectly reasonable. But in order to materialize it in your 3D world, you have to be in the consciousness level of beyond 3D to see it manifest in 3D. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
That
why
was
you have
exactly.
to,
Yep.
yeah, you have to go in your imagination, which is in
Yep.
your, you know, in your consciousness. You have to go into your intuition, right? And if you know how to manage those levers, because your imagination sends the frequency, the vibration out, and your intuition tells you when it's coming back, right? When the ship's coming back into harbor. But you need to be able to tell the signs. Oh, that's the ship. That's what I sent out, right? And follow your intuition, follow your vagus nerve, as Zena will tell you, right? Your gut instinct, your gut's telling you something. Either do this or do that, go left or go right. And if you follow your intuition, because your intuition is, you see your brain. See, a lot of people think that the brain does this, it's a computer, it's this. The basic function of the brain is to send and receive vibrations into the universe.
Yes. And so that is like, you have to think of 3D and the shadow will be in 2D. So it's creating from right to left, essentially. It's already done. Yes.
Yes.
And so, yeah, and so in order to create them from a higher perspective, you have to have a higher mind, which is all this language. And so shifting people to the higher mind is
the higher
the
mind,
goal.
I'll tell you this, the higher mind is not language. The higher mind is
Yes.
not language. The
Right,
higher
right.
mind is feelings.
Right. Yes, it's feeling, but we have to translate it so that it can be shared, expressed in the creative process. Okay, so if we have the feelings, then the expression will correlate if the dimensions of your on the same are aligned, then it will. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the feelings is what brings it into reality, into this reality.
Yeah.
Right.
So those,
Mhm.
that has to all come full circle, because you might
Right.
see it and you might even say you believe it, but if you're not physically feeling it, experiencing it, it doesn't get here. It doesn't arrive.
Exactly. Mhm.
That's right.
So feel it into being with our imagination, and then it will be spoken into being, as the speech is the manifestation of the feeling and the imagining and the reflection, because speech is an outward, right? It's projection. So that is the manifestation. And that the language, the spoken word, is the connector, and it shapes the neural network. But the feeling connected with the imagining, that is what comes before the expression.
You
So
can reshape your neural network by thought alone, by
that's
feeling
what I was just
alone.
thinking. Okay,
Yeah.
that was exactly what I was getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want
It's
to.
And you can also rewire your brain that way as well.
Mhm.
right. And but here's the thing. That's the being aware of that truth that we just expressed.
Yeah.
Being aware of that truth is one way of waking up to the power that lies dormant within most people, which is that they already possess all the power and tools that they need to reorganize their neural networks, right? All you're doing is simply reorganizing your brain to send out the frequency of what it is you want to experience, correct?
Right.
So you have everybody has the ability to do that. Now I can't. So here's the fallacy that we teach in the world today. When you get sick, you go see a doctor. When you need money, you go to a banker. When you need help, you call a coach. None of that's true, right? What most people need to learn is that the problem and the solution to the problem are two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
So if you hold the coin and you're observing, you flip a coin, right? Lands heads or tails. You flip that coin, it lands on the problem. Well, the solution to the problem is in your hands, literally. It's in your reality. You're just not aware of it. Because you never, ever, right? So this is simply the law of polarity. A problem cannot exist without its solution, right?
Right.
So if the problem exists, the solution exists. Well, if you're holding the problem, you're holding the solution. Being aware of that then gets away from, know thyself, right? Being aware of that gets you out of any problem you have. There is no problem that you can't solve, because if you have the problem, you have its solution. In fact, I'll give you, I think I did this, right? So there's a Hindu mystic, right? He had a very simple flow chart. And, he asked the question, do you have a problem? The answer is either yes or no, right? If you go down the no path, why are you worried? You got no problem, no problem. Okay. You have a problem, yes. Can you do something about it? Yes or no? If the answer is no, well, what are you worried about? There's nothing you can do about it. Okay, do you have a problem? Yes. You go on the yes path. Can you do something about it? Well, why are you worried? You got a problem, but now you know what to do about it. So why are you worried? There are no problems. There really are no problems when you break it down.
Yeah, they really are. It's mental gymnastics. That's what I call it.
It's the unraveling. So what do you said? Unraveling. We are puppets on a string. We are connected. We're attached to being this. Oh my goodness, I have to go to the government for help if I need, because I don't have the ability to earn. Well, who said that? Only you said that.
Right.
The government actually has nothing to give you. They have no way of generating income. They're digging into your pockets to get income.
Yeah.
So if you don't have money, going to the government's the last place to go, because all they're going to do is they're going to put their hands in your pocket. And while they give you $5 in one pocket, they're taking 10 out of the other. That's all they know how to do.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
So again, that's the fundamental point of Limitless, is simply that, is to get people connected to the incredible abilities that we all possess naturally. We don't need anybody else. That's a fallacy.
Yep.
It's just knowing how to tap into that power that lies dormant within all of us that's going to set us free. And that's what we're here about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd like to add a little bit to that too, Raj. Just said one thing that I just kind of that I always love to make the distinction of is the distinction of the difference between emotion and feeling, and then that we have thought and emotion together equals feeling. So you have thought, emotion, then you get a feeling or an experience. And so anything, the blueprint to creating anything in the universe is an image and an energy. In human terminology, that's a thought, a dream, and an emotion. And if that request is aligned together, then, especially as one that is of love, then the universe will go and it will render your creation. And it's that simple. So most people are thinking the same thoughts and the same energy, having the same emotions, and they're having the same feelings, meaning the same experiences. So if you want to create a different world, we have to have different images, dreams, and different energy or emotions. And then when they're set in the form of request and they're aligned that way, they will come true.
You're absolutely correct. However, a thought does not have to come from love in order to see fruition in reality. A thought is simply an energy. And if you have a thought that is not from love, but you impart it with intensity, it will also come true. And as an example, I give you Mr. Hitler, whose reality that he created was not from love under any circumstance. You can't imagine that is love of any form. Yet look at what he created. So it doesn't have to be from love, but what made it come alive was the intensity with which he shared his thoughts and ideas with other people. They added to it and combined. It was a very focused, it was a very specific, and a very so what I'm looking for. There was no, of the people that thought that bought into that idea and agreed with that idea, there was no disagreement. Everybody agreed, right? So one individual came up with the idea, but he got the power to involve everybody else. They all agreed with the idea, and that intensity is what caused it to be real. It had nothing to do with love. It was intensity that created that reality.
Yeah, we just experienced that. It was hilarious because none of that was real. And just got people on board, who like shared that former experience, right? And so that it's focused. And that was such a interesting expression, because I could see exactly in front of me what is happening in this 3D creation with people who are asleep and maintaining that low vibration, because something that has absolutely nothing to do with them whatsoever has now been interjected into the world, because they just connect with it. They allowed their consciousness to be governed by another's energy because they shared that, and then it's pulled into their reality, and we're just completely unaware. It's
a program.
Shocking. Yeah.
It's a program. So because they are unaware or not focused on the circle of influence of their own creation.
Yeah.
Right. They're not focused on the fact that, hey, I've got this incredible power to create my circle of influence, but the things that I want to create. So then they have to latch onto somebody else's creation and be a part of somebody else's creation, because they're not aware of how powerful their own creations are. So they have to jump on somebody else's bandwagon. And it's fun because all my friends are jumping on it. Oh my goodness, look, there's Zena, she's jumping on that bandwagon, and Beth is jumping on the bandwagon, and Cece's jumping on the bandwagon. I better jump on that bandwagon too. All my friends are jumping on it. I don't want to miss that train. Yet when we can stay within our circle of influence and realize that, Beth and Zena and James and Linda and Cece, they're all creators, and I'm allowing them to create their own experiences, whatever they choose, no judgment. They're just creating their experiences, and I'm just going to allow them to create their experiences while I create mine. That is true enlightenment. Because as we mentioned last week, right, if we can connect to the fact that we're all infinite, we don't have to jump on somebody else's bandwagon. We've got ample space without crowding each other out. This universe is big enough for all of us. It's abundant enough for all of us. It's healthy enough for all of us. So we just have to create what we want in that universe.
But they have a shared maybe intention or desire, right? Because we have to have a shared one. Going in the right direction, same direction, essentially.
There's one emotion, there's love.
Yeah.
There's one emotion, there's love. Any other, this is my reality. This is the only reality that I know, because I'm creating it for myself. There's one emotion, that's love. Anything else is a story, because we're predisposed to tell stories in this 3D world. Right? So I want to attach to what's real. The golden cord of love. That's it. That's the only emotion. Everything else is a story.
Me too. Yeah, it's good to get rid of those stories. They're just very pleasant.
The stories are really good. They help you sell books. I'm writing a book, lots of stories in it. They'll help me sell books. That's a good place to put a story. I got stories about every one of you, but the names will be changed to protect the innocent. But here's the thing: I can tell whatever stories I want, because you know the stories are simply a reflection of my experiences through other people.
Right.
Just as
Yeah.
Zena was saying, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not really writing about you. I'm writing about my experiences about you.
Right.
Completely original.
Yeah, that's so amazing, Raj, because I have experienced it, you know, a few people, and I've had experiences with them, and they were unable to. And then I spoke about the experience from the space of learning and you know, growth, so we could see the perceptions, and they would get very upset because I was talking about them when their name was never even, you know, it was just about, this was my experience, and they just happened to be in that experience with me. And it was interesting that they couldn't, they took offense, or, you know, or upset, whatever, that I was, because they perceived it as if I was speaking about them in a sometimes negative manner, when in truth, I was just showing the expression of the pattern.
So can I riff on that a little bit? Because
Please,
like that's
please.
right up my lane. So
Yes.
here's the thing. This comes from the trauma victim work that I've done. So there is actually a billionaire's manifesting code out there that they teach, that the amount of money you have is equivalent to the amount of self-esteem or the power you believe you have, which I believe speaks to the imagination equals the I am. So get this, if you don't have the self-esteem, the victim that doesn't know how to know that she or he can create for themselves, they borrow your self-esteem and then go, well, I didn't want to manifest that. That was your imagination. Well, get this, you can't change anything you can't own. You have to own yourself, your own power, your own I am. Know thyself, you will make the life you want. If you borrow someone else's, you'll be pissed off. Because they're doing what they're doing. It's not for you. Like, that wasn't meant for you. You just are riding that wave and you experience what they did. Well, guess what? They borrow self-esteem, if you would. So
Yes.
the whole process is, get this. Let's say, Bev, you're riding a wave and I borrow your self-esteem and I get into your reality. I'm like, oh, I don't think I want to be part of that reality. Well, Zena, create what works for you. Why are you telling Beth what to do? Do it yourself. And that is the whole thing, is discovering that I am. I am the imaginator.
No, it's just like, I don't express you. Like, I can't be you.
Nobody
I
can.
don't get upset with me because I can't be you. Like, it's not even possible for me to be you. So how is it that you're upset with me?
Understand this. The victim gets mileage out of making you do this to me. See, I can't be a victim if I don't get some kind of currency out of it.
Oh, I know about that.
They play the blame game. And guess what? If I'm responsible for everything that happens to me, then I'm the one that needs to fix it. Oops. And maybe I don't want that responsibility. Maybe I like blaming other people, so I don't have to do anything. So stay where you are and, you know, create the world that you're living in. But let me let you know that when the big tidal wave comes and you want to get the monster out of the closet, good time to change.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I said. I love that you love that, but you have to do that over there because it doesn't work for me here. You're not even going. And then when they don't get what their needs met, then you're the enemy. It's just the programming showing up. I mean, I know it, but it's just kind of shocking. It's just like.
But Raj, you're totally right. The imagination plus the I am is the equation. That's what makes us so powerful, because we create it knowing that we can manifest it and that the process will work out irregardless of what we do. Yeah. That's all we have to do is imagine it and believe it. Have the self-esteem to know I am the origin. I didn't come from some big bad God that gets mad at us and tells me that I'm sinful. We came from a creator. We're baby creators that are learning to create.
Yeah. It's fun now.
Yeah, and what you also have to, again, you use the word sin, right? So what is sin? You got to go back and look at, see, a lot of times a lot of people, when they hear this thing, they're hearing it from a priest or a pastor or whatever, and they're not even asking, where does that word come from? What was your, what's the origin of that word? Etymology, where did it come from? I look at the origin of words. It's important. What sin means is you missed the mark. So it's that, you're talking about, you're talking about refining, right? You're talking about readjusting. You're talking about tweaking. Well, okay, so I'm a sinner. Let me tell you this right now. I'm a big old sinner, because every time I send my, my whatever my desire is out into the universe, right, and it comes back, if it's not to what I designed, what I originally intended, then I am tweaking. I'm adjusting. I'm sinning. I missed the mark, and I'm just readjusting, right? So yes, and I repent. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now I say that, and it sounds funny, but it isn't, because it honestly, this is the truth. It is my truth. You don't have to be your truth. If you go listen, I had somebody I was talking to about Ho'oponopono, and I said, look, it's as simple as saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And they're like, I can't say the word I'm sorry. Okay, you're not saying you're sorry to me, you're saying you're sorry to yourself. Yeah, I can't say the words I'm sorry. Okay, so you must have had something terrible happen to your life where you can't say I'm sorry to your own self, right? And that's okay, but that's their reality, right? This is the secret of creation. The secret is exactly what Zena said, right? It's the imagination and knowing the I am within you, the creator within you. And so once you have that imagination and you know that you're the creator, and what am I the God of, right? What am I? So you're saying, are you God? I'm not saying I'm the God of the universe. I'm saying I'm the God of my experiences, because I'm the only one that can create my experiences.
Yep.
And so if I want to be a victim, then I'm creating the experience of being a victim, which is okay. Right? So as long as you crouch it in the terminology of I'm creating this experience so that I can be this being that I am in this moment. It's only momentary, it's only temporary, but you can create that moment by moment. So you can create as many moments of that experience as you want.
Right.
So the real question is, if you could create any experience that you want, what experience would you want to be?
Well, and in my understanding, my teachings from getting out of victimhood, because I was there a couple decades ago, was that you have to think more creative thoughts than destructive thoughts. Even if it's 51%, it'll tilt it. But if you keep saying it's going to break down, it's bad, it's this, it's that, you destroy it, or you can build it into new things. So yeah, it's a discipline or a practice that you can make joyful, and I think after a while, once the feelings become natural to you, you wake up every day with gratitude and joy and looking for the next cool thing you're going to do. It becomes a habit, and that's your new matrix, right? That's a new place to live from, not from the place of I don't want to rock the boat, I don't want anything unsafe, I want it all the same, I want it, I want to be able to control it. It's not our nature.
I just willed myself into being. I refused to think that or believe any of that. And when it came up, which it took a lot of awareness, it just came up and I observed it and loved it and said, no, thank you. And it went on. Like, we don't speak that language here. Like, that's DOS. We don't speak that anymore. Like, or like, oh, there's a sandbox over there. They love to argue. Just go over there. I treated it like a child, a loving parent, because I didn't want to create another bully, right? That's the ego just tricking me. And so it did. And now it's just natural. And I can't even be in a way because I've embodied it. And so, and I can feel it right here before it even gets close. It's right here. Do you
That's
get
what I was
that?
going to say.
Yeah.
Didn't you after time, you just had a radar for it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So for me, the difficulty was I couldn't turn off the media. So I haven't had a TV in my house in 17, 18 years. I don't turn on a TV because of its influence on me. I don't want to, I'll feed my mind what I want to feed it. And I became disciplined that way. And like when people start telling me their negative story, I'm like, okay, we got to stop right there. and move on to something different, because I don't play that. Like you said, it just disrupts your world and you feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question I keep asking is, what are you addicted to, right? So I think that we are predisposed, as programming programs us to be addicted to something. Now, when you talk about addictions, you have the usual suspects, right? You're addicted to drugs, you're addicted to alcohol, or you're addicted to pornography, or you're addicted to, but you know what? There's something a lot more subtle. I'm addicted to addictions.
Yes.
Right? So the question is, what are you addicted to? And addictions come in many different forms. And sometimes, I'm addicted to jumping into other people's business because I am not aware of the fact that I can create my own reality. I don't need somebody else to create. Listen, if I want to create drama, I love you all, but none of you can create drama like I can create drama for myself. Trust me. I've created more drama. I mean, I created so much drama for myself. I ended up in the ICU, not once, twice. Once wasn't enough. Right. So just suffering one time and going to the ICU was not enough. I created another drama where I ended up there again a second time. So I can create more drama than anybody else can in my own life. Thank you very much. I'm a powerful creator.
We do know you own the Raj Mahal.
Listen, the Raj Mahal. Raj Mahal, not the Raj Mahal, the Raj Mahal.
I have you so beat. I put myself in bed for 10 years, people. So listen, mine is better. My trauma and pain and suffering.
You're just
take
addicted.
it from me, please.
You're addicted to one-upmanship here now, Beth. That's just not fair.
So all addiction is repetitive behavior. Just make sure the outcome is good, not bad.
I call the hamster wheel. I call it the hamster wheel, right? So it's the hamster wheel. If you're on the hamster wheel, I don't know what noises a hamster make, but I'm going to patent that noise. Because every time I hear somebody on a hamster wheel, I'm just going to bring out the little hamster noise until they stop getting, until they get off the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
And so really, the program, I'm going to sell a program. It's going to be called simply the off-ramp. I got an off-ramp for you. Whenever you're ready to jump off the hamster wheel, here's the off-ramp. That's it. That's the entire program. If I show you the off-ramp, you're off the hamster wheel. Now you're empowered to go and build whatever life you want for yourself. Before you were imprisoned in the hamster wheel, right? I'll get you the off-ramp. So that's it.
One for victims. I want to call it unhooked.
The unhooked. There you go. Right.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we all, like, I was hooked. I was so hooked on it. I couldn't even shut myself up when I was
absolutely.
Oh
Beth, you talked about being a puppet on a string, right? So I'm going to sell a whole Pono program called D Pinocchio. D Pinocchio.
Gosh, can I interrupt a minute? I just want to ask a question, because you got me where it said I'm addicted to jumping into other people's lives because
that's what I'm addicted to. Because I'm not waking up to the reality that I can create my own reality, and therefore I have to jump into other people's realities to feel like I'm part of this universe.
Oh, because you haven't realized you can create your own reality.
Exactly. I can create my own drama.
Right. Jumping into everyone else's movies.
Right.
Yeah.
I keep inserting myself into the role of, whatever some of the movies somebody else is creating, instead of directing my own movie, producing it, acting in it.
So guess which role I jump into everyone's movie in the past was people pleasing. How's the people? Let me help. I'll help you do your movie.
I was better than you, Zena.
See, there you go.
I was a doormat. I was a complete doormat.
There you
are.
Beth,
I was so codependent. It's disgusting.
Well,
look at that, Beth.
Codependency.
One-upmanship yet again. One-upmanship yet again.
I love it. I know, gosh, I am seeking significance. You don't have to tell me. Come on, Raj. I got it written on my forehead. Can't you see it?
That is a prime, as in the first number one example, prime example of somebody who's addicted to one-upmanship right there.
Okay.
And
you know what? She's also able to laugh at her stuff.
I know. It's just so she's addicted to laughing at herself. She's doing that so she can, laugh at herself.
I know.
Here's a funny one.
Sounds like confession. Sounds like we're at confession.
There you go.
Oh,
yes.
good.
Maybe that's exactly what we're doing here, confessing all of our stuff so we can move on.
Exactly. Here's
I want to
an
have this
addiction.
forum, you guys. We need to do this more often so we can get this mind flowing. Sorry, Raj, I'll shut up now.
No, it's okay. Here's an addiction, not being able to make a decision,
Yeah. Mhm.
denying you have an addiction,
Mhm.
right? I mean, there is so, I mean, I could go on and on and on. There's just, I mean, it's all over it's all over. And I mean, like I said, all we need, again, I'm going to have a course. It's going to cost $15,000. But it's going to be worth it. But it's going to provide you the one thing that'll get rid of all your addictions, called an off-ramp.
Sweet.
All you got to do is hook it up to your hamster wheel, stop spinning, get on the off-ramp, live your life. Thank you very much. Here's my PayPal account. Okay.
You're
We're gonna-
addicted to money, Raj. Stop that.
Only fiat money.
Okay.
Only that which is not real.
Yes, yes. Oh my God. The seas of currents.
But you know, I'll
Ignorance of
tell you,
genius.
the interesting thing is when you do say that is how invested are you to get an off ramp? That's what I thought of.
Exactly.
You know, if you really want that in your life, you'd pay the $15,000, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes.
What's it going to take? And you know what, that truly, so a lot of people, when you talk about, okay, I'm going to charge for a course, I think that there are certain people that want you to not charge for a course. They put you in this position where you don't feel worthwhile going up to somebody and saying, hey, you know what, it's going to cost you $1,000 or $800 or $900, whatever it is. And the way that I look at it is very simple. Look, I know when it comes to Ho'oponopono, this is something that I do know. I can help you. I can help you learn to connect to the power within you.
Mhm.
What's it worth to you? How much are you willing to pay? It can help you in your health, wealth, happiness. It can help you in relationships. It can help you in any way you want. How you're a creator. Use this, the tools that I'm going to teach you, right? Use these tools to find whatever it is you want, whatever your desire, whatever your heart's desire is, whatever you can imagine to be. I can show you how to do that. I can show how you can do that. So you don't ever have to come back to me. I'm not going to get you addicted to coming back to tool time for 1990, give them a little bit for free, just like a drug dealer. And then you start charging them and charging them and charging them. And
Yeah.
pretty soon you're wanting $250,000 so
Mhm.
they can buy a casita in your village. No. I'm just going to give you
Right.
one time. I'll
Yep.
get you whatever you need. So you are completely self-sufficient. What's it worth to you? Right.
Mhm.
And if you say, well, I would take it for free, then let me tell you, as your mirror, that what you're saying is that whatever it is that you are trying to get rid of, it's not worth it to you.
Yes.
That's true.
You're not willing
Exactly.
to invest in yourself.
Yep.
Right. So, people that want things for free, that's the true, what they're really saying is and how do I know this? Because that's exactly what I said. When I didn't have any money, that's exactly what I said. What can I get for free? Because it wasn't valuable enough to me. Once I started to find the value in myself, it's like, I'll pay whatever I need to learn whatever I need to. Right.
Yeah, because you're a jewel in the crown.
And the
I tell
corona.
people, if you do not, your value inside, like that energy, that value, you have to have that. And so you put, as much as you value yourself, you charge, and people will value that, they value themselves, because they will, number one, you're valuing yourself, and supporting yourself and expressing yourself, like that's value. And if someone that value them reflects into them, and that when they pay for the course, they will actually learn something. They will actually do it, and or much more likely, not everybody, but actually do it and then receive it. And then, no, I'm not here to create followers. I'm here to create leaders, self-governing souls. And so, yes, it's so important to charge. And that's an old programming thing too, right? About,
Yeah, and if I can add from my victims group, I have an end session that because I was approached by a psychologist in my family. She said, "Oh, honey, you get 30 clients, you're set for life, because they'll come back to you for the rest of your life." And I thought, oh my God, I don't want someone hooked to me like some freaking drug. I want them to set them free.
Yeah.
I don't want to, trap them. So that's how I got on my quest. But understand this, I've learned this from my victims panel. The first thing that I do is I do offer a free class. And then I offer a $3 class, and then a $333 class, and then a $3,000 class.
Yes.
Let them take that grad. You know what I always tell them? All you have to know is the next step. You don't have to
That's
know the
right.
whole staircase, just take the next step. And I think this is what Limitless would provide people, is a graduation. I hate the word now, graduation, but like an ascension
Yes.
into the real who I am, the jewel in the crown that I am. And I thought it was only a $33 jewel, and next month I think it's a $300 jewel, and maybe it's I should do the $3,000 thing and see what I can find my value in, and allow them to set themselves free. Because honestly, you know that people who are fully realized have spent thousands of dollars in personal development, thousands.
Absolutely. In fact, Cece's on, right? So Cece helped me create a chart. We call it the Lighthouse Emotion Chart. And I actually recorded what that chart depicts. And it starts with the nature of spirit. The nature of spirit is to rise. If I can get people to connect with the nature of their being, which is spirit, and I show them a chart going, okay, understand when you're at the lower end of the chart, you're just being weighed down, burdened by your worries, your fears, your anxieties, whatever it is. That's not your natural being. Your natural being is light. It's the light at the top of the lighthouse. That's your natural being. That's how you came into this earth, right? So you're already there. It's not a question of I want to be there. You're already there, right? So
Yeah.
the only question, the only question is, what do you have to offload? Think of a hot air balloon,
Yeah.
right? You have to offload the bags of sand so you can ascend, right? Ascension. That's what you mentioned. That's exactly what it is. It's not a
Ascend,
graduation. It's not a
ascend,
graduation. Yeah,
Perfect.
ascend,
Perfect.
right? It's not a graduation as in a gradual
No.
indoctrination. It's an awareness,
Mhm.
right? It's awareness, a gradual
erasing.
awareness of who you are. There's a new word,
Erasing.
awareness.
Awareness. Hey, Rod, do
Yeah.
you know what my business is called?
What is it called?
Nature Spirit One.
There you go. There you go.
Because that's how I found my I am, through
Yeah.
nature, and nature
Mhm.
brought me to spirit, and I put them together, and that's where I am today, and I'm still growing.
Yeah,
Me too.
it's
That
beautiful.
is fantastic. Yep. So
Yeah,
healing.
super cool stuff.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Like, do you see
Yes.
like how much expansion just happened in this conversation? Like, wow.
These are what, like, I want to have, like, continue these conversations, because we are using the new mind. We're practicing using it. We bring other people in here, and they, even if they are just experiencing, practicing hours, if they're not, like, we're reshaping their neural network, their mind, they're expanding. And
Yeah.
we need these ideas, like forums, where we are communicating, connecting, and Zine, we have to have an offering, so I will offer a free class and then do it in levels, because it has to be done in levels. And so I have to start where they're at,
Yep.
and go up. And so that's, yeah. Mhm.
But just real quick, Linda had to leave, but she wrote, "This has been an amazing evening. Thanks for the info and all the thoughts." So this is what I was talking about. I may not know what you guys have, but I show up, I see these crystals in this crown, in this glory, and I leave here inspired. I'm riding your coattails, your stardust,
Yeah.
and I think
I'm writing yours.
and that's what Limitless is. It's the
Yes.
start, like ride the stardust wave. We're all being inspired and learning from each other. And there's so many people that are about ready to take flight, and I just can't wait for Limitless to get started, because they have their own message. They have their own gift to offer the crown.
They do.
And Limitless is starting. So, Zena can attest to the fact that we're now on the platform. We're learning how to work within it and create all the channels, all of that stuff. So that's coming along. On Wednesday, I'll talk a little bit more about Limitless, but on Wednesday's class, so last week, we started this conversation about the difference between emotions and feelings. I've gone and done a bit more research. I've got a big old pot that I can stir. And what it's going to stir is, our consciousness, our awareness and conversation. And I'm going to bring some meat. I'm going to bring some fun things that we can kind of you know, bounce around and see how we feel about it. Cause yeah, it's gonna
Oh
be
yeah, that'll be fun. I have my own jar of victim feelings that I can bring.
yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I
So look
just
at
got
Because I'm a pro. I know I had that jar for many years.
Look at how
I
powerful
know.
we are. Linda left and had to come back because she didn't have enough.
yes.
Get enough.
Hey,
She's back.
love you,
And-
Oh my
Linda.
gosh. Oh my
Um,
gosh. All right.
so Linda, we
you
were
guys.
just saying that on Wednesday, we're going to continue the discussion between emotions and feelings. I actually put a question out on the in the affirmation group. And the question was something like this. I'm not going to go back and look at the exact question, but it was something like, when you look at me, what is it that you see? Now, the answer is actually from an Indian, you know, one of those Indian mystics, gurus, swamis, whatever you want to call him. When I read his answer, it was just like, that's perfect, right? So I want to kind of get people's, and I saw your answer, Beth. That was a good one. And I want to see what everybody else comes up with. So if you want to answer there, or we'll start on Wednesday with that question, and we'll bounce that around, because I think the answer will blow your mind. So with that, I'm going to leave it there so that y'all come back on Wednesday night.
We
Okay.
will. And we'll be able to experience feelings. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I love you guys. This is
Thank you
amazing.
all. Love
I love
y'all.
you, Cece. I love you, Linda. I love you, Zena. I love you, Beth. I love you,
Love you.
Raj. I love you, Zane.
Love you guys.
Bye.
See you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. I do love Beth. Hey, man.